Hello everybody and welcome back to Replay of the Week. Today we're going to be looking at a battle between yours truly, SMence, and a battler we actually just featured 2 weeks ago, I think, in Venge. But this was a pretty interesting battle, I guess. But really the main reason that I'm deciding to do this replay is because I kind of wanted to try it out with a battle that I really know a lot of information about, and obviously because I am one of the participants, and then I got a little bit of information from Venge about his team. I just kind of wanted to see how it worked out and how you guys liked it compared to the previous weeks that I've done, where really I didn't know a ton. Last week I knew a decent amount about the teams. Because I asked Abraham and Otto about them, but obviously with my team I'm going to know everything about it, why I decided to choose each set and things like that. So I'm going to kind of go over them a little bit and just talk about my sets and what I was expecting, and then at the end I'm going to talk a little bit about what Venge said that he was expecting, what he wasn't expecting, and some things that he thought, went right or went wrong. And then obviously I'll talk about things that I thought I did right or wrong also. So to start out, I guess I can just kind of cover my team a little bit. I decided to bring a Spadef Celesteela, Max Spadef Celesteela, because based on his typings, which you can see are Poison, Dark, Psychic, I knew a lot of what he was going to bring would end up being special attackers, not really so much physical attackers. I was definitely expecting the Yveltal because of my Psychic types. I actually wasn't really expecting Tyranitar. I didn't even think of it as being an option for him to bring until somebody I was building with, Reggie, since he's in my platoon. He mentioned that he might bring Rock's Tyranitar, so I kind of prepped for that, but not really a ton. But the another thing I was expecting was Ultra Necrozma. Since he has Psychic, I was expecting a lot of Psychic types, because I didn't really have a ton that could beat it super well outside of my own Yveltal. But anyways, I knew unless he had physical Yveltal, which was definitely a possibility, I was expecting almost exclusively special attackers. And as you can see, that's pretty much what he has, just from the looks of it. Tyranitar obviously would be physical, and Yveltal could be physical, but Lugia obviously special. The Arceus I was definitely expecting to be Arceus Dark, because that's one of the best Arceus types to begin with. So I was definitely expecting that, which would be special attacker, and then the Lunala is special, obviously. But for the most part, I was expecting special attacker, so that's why that was my main kind of building point that I built around, was my Spadef Celesteela. Then I had the Primal Groudon. It's just standard rocks. I mean, Primal Groudon is just too good of a Pokemon. If you have ground, it's almost just too good not to bring. This is Scarf Yveltal I brought it for a Scarf Lunala, Mega or Ultra Necrozma. I brought it for a couple of different things, but as you can see, it matches up pretty well in this matchup here. Besides the Arceus kind of walls it pretty good, but this is a defensive Ho-Oh. It does have Brave Bird and Sacred Fire, but then it's got Toxic Roost, I think, and it's mostly defense invested. The Brave Bird was specifically for Mega Venusaur, because I was kind of expecting him to bring that. Obviously he didn't, but I thought that would be an option over maybe Arceus or Lugia or maybe the Lunala. But obviously didn't end up bringing it, and as you can see, the Brave Bird isn't really super useful. Fire Blast hits, or Sacred Fire hits pretty much everything. This is Mega Mewtwo X, which I thought matched up really well against him. even Yveltal, even like a defensive Yveltal, takes 50% from low kick from a Mega Mewtwo X, even though it's just neutral. So I thought that would work really well against him, so that's why I decided to bring that. I think it's just 4 attacks straight up, and then this is SD Ultra Necrozma in obviously Duskmane form. So that was what I brought, kind of what I expected him to bring most of what he had. I watched his previous title matches against Dozer, and I saw that he did bring the Lugia, so I was kind of expecting that. The only thing here that I wasn't really sure about was the Tyranitar. I didn't know if he would bring, and then the Lunala I thought could have been something else. I didn't really think he would bring Lunala and the Duskmane Necrozma, but obviously he did, so. But we can just get right into it. I have it set on slow. Yeah, everything's good here. So I lead out right away with my Mega Mewtwo because I know from full HP it can take just about anything. The only thing I was a little bit scared of was if he led Lunala, then he could just Moongeist Beam me. Obviously super effective, and it would probably kill. I don't know for sure, but I was kind of expecting a Tyranitar lead, and excuse me, and obviously, I was kind of hoping, I don't know why I would hope this, but I was kind of hoping he would lead Tyranitar and just stay in, and I could just low kick it and kill it. But I don't really, because I was expecting him to think I was either regular Mewtwo or Mega Mewtwo Y, but I would just have Aura Sphere or Focus Blast anyways, because he has Dark types, so I don't think he would have let me do that anyways. But so he leads out with his Arceus Dark. Still a good matchup for me. He predicts the fighting type move and goes right out into his Lunala, so that was pretty good for him, especially since I didn't bring the Foul Play, which I wanted to bring, but I ended up switching it to Ice Punch at the last minute for something else. Oh, it did more damage against Mega or Ultra Necrozma, so at that I kind of regretted not bringing the Foul Play, because I was actually thinking about I might have gone for it when he had his Arceus Dark in, predicting the Lunala to come in, but since I didn't really have it, I didn't really have anything very good to hit the Lunala basically at all. I had Ice Punch, Stone Edge, Low Kick, and I couldn't have had Knockoff. Something else, I don't remember, but yeah, nothing really good to hit this, so I ended up just switching out into my Celesteela since it's Spadef, as he just goes for the Toxic, so good play on my part, I guess. I think I figured he was Scarf at that point. Scarf with Toxic, probably Moongeist Beam, and then, you know, whatever, the standard stuff, Psychic. He goes out into his Yveltal as I go for a Leech Seed. Pretty obvious play, I'm trying to wear down everything. He doubles out into his Necrozma as I stay in and protect. Now here I'm thinking, well, he could go for just about anything here. He could be physical, he could be ultra, he could be a lot of things. So I say, you know, I'm just going to stay in and Leech Seed it. I can live anything from a physical set, and I can definitely, even if he is Ultra, I can live pretty much anything. The only super effective move he has would be a Heat Wave from a special. I decided to just stay in and go right for the Leech Seed, as he does Calm Mind, revealing to be a special, which also tells me that he is Ultra, because he wouldn't be Calm Mind if he wasn't Ultra, because Ultra has obviously equal in both, but this is much higher attack than special attack, so he would be the Dusk or Dawn Wings. This is Dawn Main, the other one's Dusk Wing. I don't know, whatever. So I just go right for the Leech Seed here, and obviously I'm at full HP. Now I'm not really too concerned about this because I know that I'm max Spadef, and I know unless he did bring Heat Wave, which I'm actually not thinking at this point that he didn't, just because unless he was expecting me to bring Celesteela, then he wouldn't carry Heat Wave, but he does reveal it. But he does stay in regular form here, so I'm a little bit like, man, is he really Ultra? But that only does 47, and then obviously with leftovers and Leech Seed, I think I Heavy Slam here. Yeah. Obviously with leftovers and Leech Seed, I get a lot of that back. And then here I'm thinking, okay, well, I need the Celesteela. you know, I have the leech seed up. I can protect here easily and just get, you know, extra HP back. But he may just Calm Mind, you know, he may predict that and Calm Mind. So, you know, what do I do here? So I do decide that I'm just going to stay in, and I'm just going to protect because it's, I mean, it's really the only, you know, it's the only thing I can really do because I really got to wear this thing down. Mainly I was thinking I wanted to wear it down for Mewtwo because once I got it down below about like 75, which obviously is already at 68, but I don't remember exactly what the calc is. I wanted to be able to kill it with Ice Punch, basically. So I do protect, even if he went for another Calm Mind and then he ended up killing me the next turn. I could just go out into my Mega Mewtwo and just finish it off. So it wasn't too big of a problem. And then here I'm thinking, okay, he's going to Heat Wave here. Do I go into my Ho-Oh and live it, and then, you know, I get a lot of HP back, basically all of it back anyways from the Leech Seed, and then I decide, you know what, no, I'm just going to stay in, I'm going to take the 50%, and it won't be that big of a deal. I'll be still at, you know, I'll still be at decent HP. Thankfully, I don't switch out into my Ho-Oh because he predicts it and goes for the Power Gem, which does about 26% to me, which is actually ends up being great. You'll see in a little bit, but that ends up mattering a lot. And I would have lost my Ho-Oh, obviously, and, you know, it wouldn't have been a good situation. Also, Heat Wave did 47 in Ultra Necrozma form. I don't think I would have died to a Heat Wave there with, or in Dusk Main. I don't think I would have died to an Ultra Heat Wave, but it would have done a lot more. I would have been pretty low. So definitely good that he decided to do that. I crit, which I don't think really mattered. Maybe it did. It might have mattered, actually, because, yeah, because then this wouldn't have killed. But anyways, he ends up dropping to that. So I'm in a pretty good situation here, 73%. He goes out into this, and I think I decide to double here. No, I just go for a Protect to scout what he's going to do. I see that he goes for Dark Pulse, so now I know that he's special, which is great for my Celesteela because it's obviously Spadef. He goes out into his Shin Gojira, and I Leech Seed it. And here I'm like, you know, this thing is a little bit scary. Yeah, he's probably just going to get a Brock, so I'm not really that concerned about it. So I double out into my... No, I go for a Toxic as he doubles out into his Arceus Dark. And now I'm like, what is he going to do? Is he going to try to Calm Mind? Is he like Calm Mind Refresh maybe? And so I say, you know what, let me switch out into my Mewtwo because I don't think it should really be able to do too much. A Judgment would do a decent amount, but I don't think it'll kill, and I can kill it with a low kick. And he decides to just get up his Stealth Rocks here, which is pretty good on his part, because obviously my Ho-Oh is going to take 50% from that. My Yveltal is going to take 25, so... Rocks is definitely good for him. I decided to go for a Stone Edge, predicting his Lugia to come out. I thought he would say, well, he's probably going to low kick this time. Let me go into my Lugia, who obviously double resists it, and I got multi-scale. You know, it would just be fine for him. But obviously my Stone Edge ends up missing, which is a little bit unfortunate because it would have definitely done a lot to the Arceus. Definitely wouldn't have killed, but it would have done a decent amount. And he goes right for a Ice Beam here, does 22%, not a big deal. And then I say, you know what, I'll just go for my low kick here and just hit it because obviously he's just trying to stay in. This thing's toxic, so maybe he's just sacking it. And then of course that turn he decides to go out into his Nebby #1 or his Lunala and is immune to the low kick. And now I'm forced to switch out again because I don't want to die to a Moongeist Beam. So I go out into my Yveltal, and he goes right for another Toxic. Oh no, he goes right for the Moongeist Beam, which does 20, so not big damage. I still think he's Scarfed at this point, so I go for my own Scarf Defog on him, and he goes for a Toxic. So I realize that it's not Scarfed, obviously. I could have Scarfed Dark Pulsed. God. Scarf Dark Pulse, and I don't think it would have killed him because it does have the Shadow Shield or whatever it's called. So it does half the damage, so it would only been single super effective. Don't think it would have killed, but I wanted those rocks gone so that my Ho-Oh would be, fine coming in on anything, and my Celesteela wouldn't take any chip and whatever. So, unfortunately, I'm literally forced to switch out because I don't want to be scarfed into defog. So I just go out into my Celesteela, which is on full, knowing that he can't really do anything to hit me very well. And he doubles out into his Tyranitar again. And then he decides to switch back out again into his Arceus Dark here. He definitely wants those rocks up. I go for a Leech Seed. He probably predicted that and said, I'll just take the Leech, whatever, take the Toxic, take the Sandstorm, just so I can get these rocks up. So I, predicting that, decided to go out into my Yveltal. I predict it right, and I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to... he's going to drop, right? Yeah. So he drops to all the, racking up damage, and then he goes out into his Tyranitar here. Now, this play I really messed up real bad, because what I wanted to do was, I was like, okay, what's he going to do? He's obviously not rocks, because he's rocks with his Arceus. So I was thinking, don't know why I didn't think Mega, because he hasn't Mega'd anything else. He doesn't have anything else that can Mega, so this is blatantly, obviously Mega. And so I'm like, what's he going to do? And I'm like, I'm just going to defog. He's probably going to Ice Beam here and kill me. And then at the very last second, I say, oh crap, he's Mega. But I'm like thinking it and I'm a little bit nervous because I'm trying to beat Venge. I get +4 bonus points from this battle, whatever. So I'm a little bit nervous. So I'm like mid-click while I'm thinking it, and I try to move down not to click defog, but I accidentally click defog, and then as I'm going over to cancel, Venge clicks this move. And so I end up defogging, and he does in fact Mega, and he does in fact Dragon Dance in my face as I defog. I'm sure he predicted that. And he Dragon Dances in here. I'm like, well, oh my god, I'm screwed. This is a +1/+1 Tyranitar isn't toxic, isn't leech seeded. I'm scarfed into defog. I can't stay in and just let him kill me because he may just continue to set up in my face. So I'm like, I'm screwed here. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to go out into Godzilla because Groudon, because I know that even if he does Dragon Dance, he can't kill me in one hit. Groudon's like incredibly bulky, and I can just hit him with a Precipice Blades, and that'll be that. But of course, I accidentally scarf for defog, so now I'm like, well, what am I gonna do? So I'm sitting here and I'm like, all right, what do I gotta sack? I'm like, I gotta keep my Yveltal because it hits his Lunala for double super effective, and it hits his Lugia for super effective, and I don't want to end up in a stall battle with his Lugia, which is one of the craziest, bulkiest Pokemon, and it's just gonna stall me out and kill me. So I'm like, and I don't really have Toxic. I have Toxic on my Celesteela. I wasn't really, thinking about that at this point. But I'm like, all right, I got to save my Yveltal. Duskmane Necrozma obviously is going to die. It's super effective. Mewtwo's weakened. It won't be able to live a hit. Ho-Oh, it's double super effective. Obviously going to kill it. Like, I got to go out in a Groudon. I got to sack something here, basically. I don't want to let him just set up for free, so if he tries to set up, that's fine. Groudon, I'll just go in and kill him. But if he attacks, then I just got to sack something. So I decided to go out into my Groudon. I get rid of the Sand, which is nice, because it stops from doing chip to things, and he doesn't have the Spadef boost anymore, obviously. He goes right for a Stone Edge, and it easily 2-hit KOs Godzilla. Or, God, why do I keep calling it Godzilla? Tyranitar's a beast, so I literally sit here for... I felt kind of bad. I sat here for probably 5 minutes calcing stuff, trying to figure out what to do. And I'm like, I think I just lose here. Celesteela doesn't die in one hit, but I can't even come close to OHKOing this thing. Yveltal doesn't have anything to hit it. Ho-Oh drops, Mewtwo drops, and I think Duskmane Necrozma drops. So I'm like, all right, well, I think that's just straight up GG. But I decide, let me do this real quick. I decide, look at this calc. You seen that? Does that look right? Okay. Look at this calc. Duskmane Necrozma. Let's just do showdown usage against Tyranitar, Mega Dragon Dance. +1 with Crunch, because I'm sure he has Crunch because I have Psychic type. He didn't reveal it, but 84 to 99.7. I'm like, thank God I just barely live it. It's not a roll I don't have to worry about unless he crits with a Crunch, then I'm perfectly fine. So I'm like, I just got to basically sack my Necrozma here. So I go out into it. Luckily, right before the battle, I decided to put Brick Break on my Necrozma. But this is the wild part. It only does 78%. It lives a double super effective move from... I mean, it's not stab, it's only 75 base power. I get that, but it's double super effective. And it lives it. Crazy. So, luckily I live. Obviously, you saw the roll unless he crit. So that was actually a little bit of a high roll, but it didn't matter because he just killed me on the next turn anyways. So pretty crazy. He lives it, and then I Mega... I Ultra Burst here because the only reason I Ultra Bursted was because I was going to die anyways, and I was thinking maybe he's adamant, maybe if I Ultra Burst I'll kill it, but he ends up being Jolly, which I figured he was. He wouldn't let me, because Mewtwo he barely outspeeds Mewtwo and Ultra Necrozma with Jolly, so I figured he would be Jolly, but I just wanted to test it just to be sure. And then I go out into Celesteela because I know that unless he crits a Stone Edge, I know that I'll live any hit, so I just go right for the Protect, I don't know, just because I'm an idiot. And then I decide to go for he Stone Edges does 78, so like I said, unless he crit, that wouldn't kill. And then I go for the Heavy Slam and knock it out, which ends up being great because I get a +1 Spadef here. And his last 3 Pokemon are all special attackers. So this is where my Celesteela that I perfectly, this was the Pokemon, comes into play and wins me the game in the end because I Protect here to get that little bit of HP back. And with +1 Spadef, I'm able to live that just barely, and no flinch means I get the Leech Seed off, which means I get 12% back, plus my leftovers, which brings me up to 25. I actually predicted that he was going to switch out and went for the double Leech Seed there, which was pretty, honestly, stupid on my part because if he did attack, then I died, and I think I still would have won anyways, just with like my Yveltal plus. I mean, I just kind of had stuff to beat him anyways, so I don't think it really mattered. But I figured obviously the Protect is obvious. He doesn't want his Yveltal to just die like that, so he would switch out. And here it really just turns into not really a stall fest because it doesn't really take that many turns, but I just keep Leech Seeding and getting recovery. I end up getting back up to full, and I just slowly kill everything. He already knew that it was over at that point, so I end up winning 4-0. Looked pretty bad for me a couple of times, but once I got rid of his 2 offensive threats, it was pretty much over. Celesteela just walled the rest of his team. Even if he had his Arceus there, I just walled all 4 of those. These 4 middle ones here, I just walled them with my Celesteela. It wasn't really that big of a deal. So Celesteela definitely ends up being MVP of that game. Beats his Ultra Necrozma, beats his Yveltal, Lunala, and Lugia obviously single-handedly. Toxic to the Arceus, which wore that down pretty quick, and ended up getting the final kill on Mega Tyranitar. So Celesteela basically carried me through this whole game. The rest of my Pokemon ended up being basically sacks. Mega Mewtwo did literally nothing. Yveltal, all it did was defog. I sacked Primal Groudon. Necrozma's the only one that actually hit something besides Celesteela. Necrozma got the Brick Break on the Tyranitar, which obviously helped me from not losing, and then Ho-Oh never even hit the field. So definitely Salasila was great. I messaged Venge before this, and I asked him if he had the team. He said he deleted it, but I mean, we saw pretty much what most of his team was anyways. He did say that he was not expecting Spadaf Salasila at all, so that's why it ended up doing so well against him. And he was expecting a Zygarde complete, which I actually had on my team, and Abrant suggested I take it off right before the battle because A, he would be expecting it, and B, it didn't really help me that much. Obviously, against this team, it wouldn't have really ended up doing that much. It would have helped against the Tyranitar because it would have been able to live. Oh no, you know what? He probably had Ice Punch. I bet he did have Ice Punch because he didn't reveal a third move, right? Yeah, he probably did have Ice Punch specifically for the Zygarde. So I don't even know. And this had Ice Beam. This probably had Ice Punch. This had Ice Beam. Yeah, so I probably would have been. Yeah, that definitely would have been a bad play bringing that. Wouldn't really help me out with anything. And then he said the big misplay on his part was when he had the Necrozma in. He said he definitely should have he kept it in regular form because he didn't want to take extra damage from Heavy Slam or get Toxicked. But he said it was definitely a misplay. He definitely should have just Ultra Bursted and went for the Heat Wave, because let's check this calc. How much would the calc do? Or the, let's see, Ultra Necrozma, we'll give it 252. 250, that doesn't matter, but probably Timid, I'm guessing. Item would have to be Ultra Necrozium, and then just sort of throw Heat Wave on there. Versus Celesteela, Max Spadaf. Yeah, so the Heat Wave would have done over 50. Oh, wait, no. Oh, my God, he was at +1. Okay, so yeah, so definitely should have. Let's make sure this calc is right, because Power Gem. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, so definitely a misplay. Definitely should have Ultra Bursted and Heat Waved, because that would have just almost killed me straight up there. And then, obviously, Celesteela wouldn't have been able to hit the Tyranitar. It wouldn't have been, yeah. So I think that was definitely the turning point for the battle, was that play against the Ultra Necrozma. But, I mean, what can you do? In the end, you can't make... Venge was on a 24-game win streak. I managed to beat him right on week 25. It would have brought him up to week 25. So, I mean, eventually you gotta lose. Nobody wins everything forever. So, I'm just glad that I don't know. It was kind of nice to be able to be the one to do it, because I was 0-5 against, 0-6 maybe against Venge. Never beat him before this. This was the first battle I ever beat him. The only time I ever beat him was in a best-of-3 title shot. I took one game from him, but the other two he just bodied me. It wasn't even close. So I just got kind of lucky in the one game. I won 2 speed ties against his Coco with my Coco. That's the only reason I won. If I didn't get, I would have. If he had won one of the 2 speed ties, I would have lost that game also. So, either way, very good game. I think I prepped very well for this game. I think he did too, but I think that just the Celesteela, he wasn't really expecting. I think that's really the only thing that, like, if I had something else, let's say I had the Zygarde instead of the Celesteela, I definitely think I would have lost this. 100% would have lost this. So, yeah, but very good game. Let me know what you guys think about this format when I know a little bit. Well, obviously my team, I know everything about. I knew a little bit about his team. Let me know how you think about that. And then from now on, if you enjoyed it, I'll try to get. From now on, I'll try to get teams from everybody, and try to get like what they were expecting, what they prepped for, and things like that beforehand. So, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and have a good day.